Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We have an interview, and it will be brought to you, guessed it, by Utility Pro Air. Before we get into that, Dave, because I'm real interested in talking to Dan Visser he's president of Easy Access Industrial Design. Dave, listen, they prevent falls before they happen. And I started thinking about that. I wonder if they can prevent a bad hire before you hire somebody.
Probably not. There's been many that tried, and I know what you're getting at, and I hope you're not insinuating Bryce.
That would never be the case.
That was not very nice, guys. Dave. Hey, but we do. We have, with President of Easy Access Industrial Design, we have Dan Visser. Dan, how you doing, sir?
Great, all the way here from west coast of British Columbia.
Wow, beautiful out there this time of year, eh?
Yes, eh?
Well, it's great. It's great to have you on
and show how beautiful it is up here.
All right, hey Dan. Hey, how did you get started with designing and manufacturing work platforms for working on transport trucks?
Well, back in the 90s, I started a softwood lumber processing company and had been started importing and distributing a work platform that I found at a trade show in Australia. And after a few years, I put my product development experience from my lumber company to use by beefing up the work platform design and for use with industrial applications. And it didn't take long for me to find out there was an opportunity with heavy vehicle and aircraft service shops for a portable and maneuverable heavy-duty work platform. So I decided to improve on the imported product to supply a sturdier wheeled platform with a good-sized work area to provide an alternative to ladders and construction scaffolds.
Yeah, I can imagine, with all the liability surrounding, just the trucking companies, trucking industries, all of that regarding the platforms on there, that there's got to be a big need for that. Hey, but what pulled you towards that, the direction towards having that rooftop protection?
Well, firstly, in regards to liability insurance, I had to increase my liability insurance because I was concerned about, people falling off and requirements for proper insurance. So yeah, I had to put some more money down towards insurance. And but as far as what pulled me in that direction, basically it was a natural progression based on customers' requests. Nobody else in the industry seemed to be offering rooftop protection other than engineered harness systems, which we're all somewhat familiar with. And I had been designing and supplying taller models and getting up to working along the roof line and for bodywork and detailing when I've been asked on a number of occasions for rooftop protection. I'm not one to say no to a customer who needs to improve their fall protection or to customize.
So what other industries besides that, what other industries did you have to reach out to? I mean, I'm sure there was a wide range of needs. So who did you go to?
Well, I found that we had quite a number of local helicopter companies fighting fires in our area and doing work in the forests and so on. And I had a chance to help out a bunch of them. And then that morphed into aerospace and even military. And as time went on, we were able to help out heavy equipment operators, including public works, mining equipment, transit buses, marine. There's a lot of people who can benefit from being able to get off ladders. It's a real safety thing these days, and I've been able to provide some very cost-effective and customizable solutions for that.
So you're talking about these, and when you customize it, you're talking about other, basically other products that you're developing, not just one, but you're developing many products based upon the need of what they, right? You're kind of implementing
Exactly.
the product on the need. So what have been some of these products?
Well, basically not everyone needed height adjustability. So I came up with Sturdy Deck, which is a fixed height work platform. And it has also an adjustable model that found its way into heavy vehicle paint booths. And more recently, we've been developing Stack Deck, which are based on a 30 by 36 inch rectangular tube frame that includes a base frame, one or two mid-stacking sections, a deck, and a handrail section, along with an adjustable ladder, which work great in today's environment for being able to exit and enter a rooftop. Because a lot of people, they just lean a ladder against a rooftop, and there's a real safety issue with the transition from the ladder onto the rooftop. So now I've got this base, and you can put it right to the deck height and then just step directly onto the deck. And that's been a product we put out recently, and it's being well received.
That's is that rooftop containment system you're speaking of?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So, I want to tell you this real quick, Dan, is that, when it comes to safety and everything we've spoken about right now, I want to tell you, I love what you're doing, because there's not one fix for everything. You can't, everything may need a modification. And Dan, what you're doing here is you're going out to that market. And again, I want you to talk a little bit more on that rooftop containment system. But you're going out to these markets, Dan, and you're listening to your customers. You're creating a system that's designed to work around their issues to keep them safe, to, as you say it, as we said it earlier, protect them from falling, protect them from that accident. Dan, talk to me just a little bit more about one product has increased. That's that rooftop containment system. Hey, why has that increased so much?
What has that increased so much?
Yes, sir.
Well, basically, I'm finding that some of the service shops, they're not allowed to access the rooftops anymore because they don't have adequate safety. So the systems that I'm designing are allowing them to get back to work. And as well, as you had just alluded to, we're working towards preventing people from falling, as opposed to having a fancy harness and feeling, really cool up there, and then actually falling and potentially, having a serious injury. So, that's what it's all about. I just wanted to mention as well that, I've been able to take our scissor deck product and help a US-based new manufacturer who was having logistics problems getting their safety system in line, and we designed and we customized our scissor deck system for a full wraparound system for that RV manufacturer. Because he had to wait a long time for that drop-down system that he had on order to come in because of the whole logistics thing. And shortly thereafter, I got a phone call, and they were just ecstatic about the system that we had been able to supply to them. So, this is what gets me going when I get these kind of phone calls from our customers saying that they're extremely happy with what we were able to do and take care of them in a short period of time. And so right now we're working towards giving alternatives for transit shops for full wraparound systems, and ours will be able to be taken apart and moved around quickly, as opposed to having to use a full bay and dedicate it for this use. And same thing goes with truck shops.
We talk about it, and let's talk a minute about falling, right? I mean, you're preventing the fall, and we discussed it a second ago, and you briefly led to it, but really these harnesses, believe it or not, they're kind of like a seatbelt in an accident. They'll save you, but you can be seriously injured from that that harness that saves you. Sure, it might save you from falling, but still you'll get the bruising, the hurting, and you're basically, what kind of, I don't want to do it in two parts. Let's just talk about how does your product avoid that, first of all?
How does our product avoid a fall? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the suspension trauma. You know, that we're avoiding the
trauma, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let me just talk about suspension trauma for a second, and we'll get to that. Basically, suspension trauma, I see we put something up on the screen there, is something a lot of people aren't aware of. They get sold this whole nice system to protect them, and so they can check the box there. But people don't realize necessarily so much that suspension in an upright condition for more than 5 minutes can be fatal. And, suspension trauma occurs when someone who suffers a fall and is held suspended in a harness, it can cut off their blood circulation in their legs. And, help might not be arriving right away. So when the arteries near the fronts of your legs continue pumping blood, the harness straps act like tourniquets on the veins in the backs of the legs and prevent used deoxygenated blood returning to the heart. So that's pretty scary stuff. Wow. So what will happen is something called the harness hang syndrome, which results in buildup of lactic acid in the pooling blood. When the worker is brought down, the acidic blood is suddenly circulated through the body and can place the kidneys, liver, and even heart under significant and life-threatening stress. So that is scary stuff. So when we're putting out product into the industry now that can prevent falls from happening, I'm charged up to do that because everything I just explained is not a good thing. So we want to stop people from falling.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? I could tell you right now, just hearing that part, Dan, you've at least educated somebody today, and I'm sure we have a group of listeners that are right with me on this. Drive safe, Dave. I mean, it really is an amazing product what you're doing out here. Hey, but Dan, can you give me a sneak peek? Can you give me something only a listener at BCB Live is going to hear about what's coming up for Easy Access?
Yes, we have I'm proud to make another product announcement, and there's already been a brief showing of that on the slide. But before we get to that, just to answer that question, we're working on adding handrails to our ladders. So, you go up an extension ladder, and in some cases, with work platforms, it's kind of helpful to have something to grab onto as you're going up. And we're just designing handrails that'll fit into our extension ladders, which can pop in and pop out. So that's going to really add a benefit of security to people, especially when they're climbing up, holding a piece of equipment as they're approaching towards the platform. So that's one thing we're working on. And also we've been able to develop a Outrigger Leg System for our work platforms when they're being used for helicopters, for when helicopters are sitting on these little dollies that they pull in and out of the hangars. We've been able to, increase the leg stability when the legs are both on the ground and on the carts. So that's kind of a very customized situation, which is being well received as well. So currently, we're increasing the width of our frames so that bigger guys can feel even more secure when they're standing on the frame. And we're looking into, as I mentioned before, breaking into the transit market to do full wraparound platforms that easily connect and can wrap around the entire bus and give transit operators, as well as other industries, the ability to work outside instead of having to have a dedicated bay like they would with the harness systems as well. And so the new product launch that I'm talking about is basically the over-engine stand system, which accesses the sleeper and is mainly used for replacing windshield glass. So, in the past and presently, a lot of guys, they just climb right into the engine compartment.
Correct.
And work on the glass, and have to be careful where they're standing. And as you could see with the slide that we showed earlier, and you can see that on our website later. Oh, here it is. This is Will. He's my welder, and he's just testing out the stand for our benefit. And that's basically what we can do to offer the industry now. That whole stand comes apart in a few sections. That takes all of 3 minutes to set up and about the same to remove. And yet you can have a big guy like that, plus a guy helping him work on windshields. So that's what we want to do. We want to help people and get them where they need to be. And that's our job.
You know what? I appreciate that. I looked at that and I watched it. You don't know how many times that I've personally crawled up on the engine to replace a clearance light right above the window, or, a marker light, or what have you, or even do anything up there that high when it comes to the truck. And I'm telling you, what a great safety platform that offers to allow for no falls, also a more secure area. I mean, everything about it just screams safety. And I am excited about your products and you putting them out there on the market.
Yeah, Dan, a big fan of what you're doing out there. Keep it up, because we've got to continue to make our workplaces, our work zones, our locations, inside or outside, we've got to make them safer. So many times we're creatures of habit. That's not how we did it. And Dan, from what I've seen, y'all continue to innovate, and I love what you're doing. Let me tell you, great job on that. I couldn't be. I'm not going to go out and buy a ladder for me, but I'm going to buy one for Drive Safe Dave, because he'll get on there and do something with it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I like the idea, and the slides show a great representation of what you're doing and how you're doing it. This is a great opportunity for all of the companies out there that watch this. No matter what you're doing, you can get a hold of Dan and reach out to him and his company to try to help mold or get some of these systems into your workplace, into your work environment, and provide this security of safety, of not falling, of being safer out there. How could you not want this opportunity to make it better for yourself?
Sold. I love what you're doing out there.
Hey, Dan, so before you go, we always like to ask our guests to say their name and who they work for, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me?
I'd love to. Hi guys, I'm Dan Visser, president of Easy Access Industrial Design. You can find our products at scissordeck.com, and you are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Great job, great product. Hey Dan, thanks for being on our show. Love, again, I'm just going to tell you, anything safety related and I fall in love with, but it's not just that. It's all of the innovations. It's you going to your clients, listening, I'm sure, to what they have to say and making it safer for them. Continue to do that, Dan. It's so important that we listen to others and we create product that that prevents an accident from happening. Thank you for all you do, buddy.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure.